First up at 6, a high-profile resignation 24 hours after the WBRZ investigative unit questioned the governor about continued missteps at the Department of Children and Family Services.
Marquita Walters, who led the agency since 2016, left quickly. Here's Chris Nakamoto with what some lawmakers want to see happen.
Sylvia, Michael, they don't think Marquita Walters' resignation is enough. Some believe other top DCFS officials are also responsible for the failures, and they need to go too. Walters' resignation is a complete shift from what she told us Monday.
At the time when we are being called to answer more questions, we have fewer people to answer them.
It follows the death of 2 children who overdosed on fentanyl, and the agency she leads did nothing to intervene.
Somebody should have caught it.
State Senator Regina Barrows says the 2 children the state failed both lived in her district.
Mitchell Robertson, Jahari Paul. And at the end of the day, I will make sure that their names are never forgotten.
2-year-old Mitchell Robinson overdosed on fentanyl this summer. DCFS failed to act on 3 separate complaints that could have saved his life. Fast forward 4 months, the same thing happened again. 1-year-old Jahari Paul overdosed on fentanyl and died in late October. Despite DCFS getting a tip about him, the agency did nothing.
You know, not only were they failed by their family, but they were failed by the safety net. And so we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do in our community. There's some community responsibility as well. I applaud the neighbor who called, who gave the anonymous tip. I applaud them for calling because they did their part. But the system still failed. The system, the safety net, is still rattled with holes.
For more than a week, Governor John Bel Edwards remained silent on the situation. The WBRZ investigative unit traveled to New Orleans Wednesday, where he called the latest death an absolute failure. The governor also feeling pressure from lawmakers like Barrow and State Rep Jason Hughes out of New Orleans.
I did speak with the governor, and I told the governor that I would not be able to stand like I did before to support her saying.
Marquita Walters' fate appeared sealed when Governor Edwards refused to say he was on the same page with her, contradicting what Walters told reporters Monday about being in lockstep with him.
Do you have confidence in Marquita Walters?
Yeah, as soon as I have more on that, I'll tell you.
24 hours after that interview, the governor telling us Walters is done, and they've now consulted with a third party to do a top-to-bottom review at DCFS. Meanwhile, lawmakers like Barrow and Hughes don't think Walters' resignation is enough. They want to see others gone too.
DCFS cannot move forward without adequate leadership. Leadership matters. And the secretary has proven that unless she has the feet under her fire from the legislature, she did not begin making internal changes until the Senate started having a series of hearings. I think we need a new pair of eyes on DCFS, Secretary Walters, as well as Assistant Secretary Hodnett, and probably others, but starting with those 2, need to resign immediately. That is the only way the agency can move forward.
The whole top layer of management needs to go.
In her resignation letter, she told the governor her last day will be December 31st, and she'll be using her personal leave time between now and then. Deputy Secretary Terry Ricks will serve as the interim secretary until Walters' replacement can be named. Michael?